Hey everyone, this is Ibrahim from Group 26, and this is it. This is our website. Now, as excited as we are to show you its quirks and features, I'm gonna first have to talk about how we got to this point. So let's start off by explaining what Ancestry Records is. Now, simply put, Ancestry Records is a website where you can blog about your history. So your own history, or maybe your grandpa's history, or your parents' history, or maybe just a history of a friend. And then you forget about it. Or you can share it and edit it, but that really doesn't matter. What matters is that 100 years in the future, or maybe 50 years in the future, when your descendants wonder, what was my great great grandpa like? They don't have to be in the dark. They can just go onto our website and read your own words of what you have to say. Yep, and that was the basic idea when we started. And once we got the idea, we started with the user stories. Now, the user making user stories wasn't really hard for this project because there's no really technical users. Everybody's just a regular user that makes a blog. There's no engineers or teachers or something that requires a technical knowledge or interviewing the person to understand what they do. Everything was simple and plain. And yeah, we only have one type of user right now, which is the registered user. We don't have any sort of hierarchy like admins, regular users, or such hierarchy because we didn't find it necessary for the time. Maybe in the future, if our website actually goes online, we'd have to have moderators and such. But for the time being, we are just satisfied with having everybody just be a regular user. And as you can see, the user can just create profiles, add blogs, edit blogs, just the really simple things you'd expect from any social media site. And once we got those figured out, um, we started with the sprints. Now this right here is our sprint sheet, and we actually based our sprint sheet off a template provided by the instructor, but we did change it a bit to simplify it. So we just have a task, its description, priority, and then estimated effort, actual effort, status, and who's it assigned to. And we found having a sprint sheet was actually quite useful. And we used to have almost weekly or bi-weekly uh, scum meetings. So where we would come up with the sprints. Now we did find two issues, two difficulties making sprints. One was the difficulty of um, dividing the tasks or what has to be done into sprints. So we didn't want to have a sprint that is too big. We also didn't want to have a sprint that is too simple. So we kind of had a difficulty finding a middle ground between too difficult and too simple. And yeah, in the end, we did manage to figure it out. I guess it's because we were new at this, so we didn't have much experience. But now, as we progressed through it, we did get a better understanding what the sprint should be exactly. And the second issue we had was estimating effort. Um, I think that issue was mainly because none of us worked with Spring Boot before, so we actually didn't have an idea of how to do something before we set out to do it. So like right now, understand that, okay, if I want to do that in this framework, it's gonna take me 2 hours because I've done it before. But if it's a new framework, it's kind of difficult to know how much something is going to take when you don't exactly know um, what it entails. So that's why you can see some discrepancies. We sometimes overestimate or underestimate, but generally we did finish on time. So yeah, and as you can see, there are some incomplete sprints. Those are mainly like last minute bugs and unimplemented features. The product is working at this point, although there are a couple of minor features we'd like to add that we didn't have time to add. But I'm gonna let Brandon show you how to use our app.
Hello, I am Nishant Starr, presenting our sprint sheets and user stories for our group project. So first you can see we have our sprint table. We have our tasks numbered. We have what the task is, or just a shorted version of what task needs to be done. We have the description, which is just a further explanation of what each task needs to do. We have a priority list that's color coded from high priority, medium, and low, depending on how much we wanted to complete or how much extra stuff you wanted to add on. So we had a high priority for pretty much stuff that we needed to have the general basis, and then medium and low as we saw fit to add more stuff on. We have an estimated hour, which is just our ballpark guess of probably how long it would take, and then we have how long it actually took. So then we could compare it to our estimate effort, and then better guess our estimated efforts when we added more stuff on later. Over here we have our statuses, which are just two color coded for completed and incompleted. Then we have the names of the things that are assigned to somebody. So somebody finished something and takes over another project, and we say who it's assigned to. Yeah, so you can see some of the things we wrote down were initializing to GitHub and SQL Server, implementing some GUIs to make using our application easier. Like you can see, for instance, stage 1 GUI is high priority because we wanted something that's usable, but stage 2 GUI was of lower priority because it's still usable with just the stage 1, but we thought another one might be nicer. Really important high priority stuff, adding subjects, displaying subjects, and I'm making this when there's just a couple more things complete so you can see the difference between incompleted and completed assignments. And then over here is our user cases, which are just formatted just like the ones in class were for us, or with big tables of as I want to, so that so we can just continue writing them down as we create more. So just like before, we have the story number, and then we have a user description, and then the functionality of it. Create account, say homepage, all that. And then we have the reason, which is the benefit. And then just like the last one, to keep a little consistency, we have a color-coded priority list. And that will just about do it for the sprint table and the user stories for group 26. Thank you.
All right, hi, I'm Brandon Carlisle, and I'm going to start by showing you a little bit of the code, and then we're going to jump into the demo for our project. So the main things here we have are blogs, which are the stories you can tell about your family members. The persons, this is more of the profiles and handling the information of the people on the website. Users, this is more of the back-end stuff like their emails and login. And we also have relations, because in this website you can add people to your family, and this keeps track of the database of people and how they're related to each other. And you can see in here the different ways that we separate out the handling of adding family and following and search results through all these different sections. And the websites here we have are the blog. This is the home page, where it displays all the list of blogs that you made or the people that you're following, and you can view them that way. Show blog is after you click on those blogs from the list, it'll display that whole blog for you so you can read it. Store blog is when you're creating your own blog. Add persons, you'll see this more in action when we get into the demo, but it's when you're trying to use someone for a story that isn't registered on the site. Profile, this handles the template for every time you click on somebody's profile. Search results, this lists everybody and it allows you to view their profile, follow them, or add them to your family. And this is also, we have a login and a register user, and that's pretty self-explanatory. So let's get into the website. Here's the sign-in screen. There is a registration here, but I've already registered, so instead I'm just gonna sign in. Use my student email for this, and you'll see nothing listed right here right now. That's because I haven't made any blog posts and I'm not following anybody, so I can't see theirs either. Right up here you can see my profile. You go to that, you see some information about me. There's my name, city, country, and birthday, and there's two fields right here. I'm going to explain this a little bit. So this top one right here, family members, is anytime you add someone to your family, you can state your relation, and it'll list all these people. And then this down here is people that have added you as part of their family. So you can see the people who call me family and my relation to them. So right here is my mom, and I'm her son. Makes sense, right? So now let's go and find her and find her profile. So if you do a search right here, you'll see a list of everybody on the site. And first you can see me right here, and you can see mom right up top here, and you see view profile, follow, and add to family. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to follow her. And now this takes me back to the home page, and you can see her blog post. She's made only one. It's post about my son. Click on it, and it's post about my son. There's the title. It's from my mom. It's about me. I'm the subject. The post just says my son's name is Brandon. Simple enough. And if we go back to the search, you can now see there's red here because I'm already following her. And there's a button to add to family. I've clicked that. It makes me state a relation. She is my mother. Add to family. Takes me back to the home page. And now if you go to my profile, you'll see she's now listed as one of my family members I've added. And she's my mother. And if you go to her profile, you will see the same thing. I'm now listed under people who call her family. Alright, so now that we've gotten there, let me go back to the home here. I'm going to add my own post. But the thing is, I don't want to make a post about me or my mother. I want to use someone else, someone that isn't using this site. So I'm going to use my grandfather. So what I can do for that, since you need to have a subject, and I want to specify the right subject, I'm going to add a person to the site. And this explains here the idea of adding someone who doesn't use the site, but still wanting to maintain the same subject so people can still read the same stories about that one person. So first here it has an option to search just to make sure they're not on the site already. And I'm just going to make up someone here. It's going to be Grandpa. name real quick. Oh, I spelled my own last name. Let's say he's also from Charlotte, Carolina, and I'm going to give him a birthday. That's about right. And now he's added, and already if you go and search for him, you can see he is now listed as a member on the site. And I can add him to my family. I can say he is my grandfather. Now, on the profile, he's now listed as one of my family members. I now have my mother and my grandfather. Now I'm going to make a post about him. Let's go back to the... Oh. Taking it slow. Okay. Let's go and make a new post. And there's the subjects right here. Just drop down. I can add as many as I want. So let's say I just want to make all three my subjects. All three of these people. My mom, me, and my grandfather. And the title is My Family. Right? And I can put... make sure these are all selected. Yep. I can post saying something like, these are my family members. Submit. And I can see on top is my mom's post, but now it's my post. It's my family. Click on it, and you can see all this. See what I've posted in the text, and there's 3 subjects in here. And now I have operations I can do here. I can go back through and edit these. Let's say I want to take off one of these. So I just want to be about my mom and my grandfather. I don't want me in the subject. It's about them. I'll submit that. Now it just lists them. And that's about it. As you can see with it, as more people join onto the site, that there'll be a lot more blog posts. You can follow more people, and a lot more people can be posting, and more people can be posting about the same subjects. And there'll be more people listed in the search here, so you can follow more people, add more people to your family, and when people go to your profile, you can see all the people that are connected to you, and it creates this whole web, and you can share your stories with more people and spread the legacy of your family. Alright, that's just a basic overview of our website.
Hello, this is Ritvik from Group 26 doing the last part of our group presentation. So the last few parts were about the site itself and the idea of the site and the importance with the use cases and the sprints and how we managed everything. Now for this last part, I'm going to be talking about pretty much a summary plus what we've learned throughout this project. And I'm going to be starting at GitHub. So here is our GitHub repository where our final project is. And I've learned quite a lot here personally about how to contribute to GitHub. I was pretty new to GitHub before this. So I learned a lot about forking and about editing here to make sure I can commit to the master branch and keeping it up to date and being able to put certain files in so I don't mess up other people's contributions was a good learning experience for me. So yeah, that was what I learned from GitHub. Also, doing pull requests was a bit tricky at first. I had to figure out how to order my files in a way so it also wouldn't mess up other people's work. So yeah, I learned a lot there. And the next thing is the Sql Work Bench. So yeah, this took a while to get the schemas working with the database so we could use it on the site itself. So I have the site here, and as you can see, when we add people, it shows up in the main place, and we also have profile. That all is done through the server. And yeah, so in order to get these to connect, we used IntelliJ IDEA. We used the customer support application we did in class as a base, but then we expanded on it. So everything is done with Spring Boot. And we have all these models that Brendan explained in the site when he talked about in his video. And now I'm going to switch over to the sprint sheet to talk about some possible future endeavors with this site that we were thinking of doing. The main one we have here is a search function to return a list of people in the database. We already have a search function in this, so if I type in my name here, you can see every post I've made and I can follow people. But what we're talking about here in this sprint sheet is actually making a search function itself. So taking it one step ahead and making it so certain users appear based on what you search more depending on the search itself, not just matches. So right now we basically just have it so it's matching it and it shows it. And also we were also planning on making a tree. That ended up being a little bit of a stretch, but we looked into some applications into how we could possibly make a family tree based on the relation. So I'll show you the IntelliJ idea. We have relations here with relations entity. Brendan talked about it in his video. Basically, we want to make all these relations connected in a tree, so whoever you follow, you can see and visualize the tree itself and sort of how everyone's connected, cousins and the like. It would have been a tall order to do right now, but given more time, I don't think it's too outside the realm of possibility to make a family tree function for the website as well. So yeah, that's pretty much our project. Ancestor record.